movies?
20.
20 horror movies.
20 British horror movies.
Ooh.
And I want you guys to throw me out one British horror film, right, that you think would be number one.
Okay, well, thinking on that for a second, my immediate go-to reaction is American Werewolf in London. What about you?
Maybe Hellraiser?
Yeah.
Well, according to MovieWeb.com, Hellraiser was on the list. It was number 3.
Okay.
Interesting.
They did not have American Werewolf in London.
Oh, okay.
Probably because John Lantis is not British, so I guess they count it as a British production. So
Okay, well,
according to them, the reason why I brought this up is because what they chose baffled my fucking mind. Okay?
all right.
According to MovieWeb.com, the best British horror movie ever made is Shaun of the Dead.
What?
Yeah. Now, me personally, I would have went with Hellraiser, to be honest with you. And I don't remember everything that was on the list, but I can tell you
Right.
it was maybe not even any Hammer horror movies on there at all.
Really?
So
Okay.
I know The Wicker Man was on there, and Hellraiser. The Ritual was on there. A couple other ones that you can think of. 28 Days Later.
Mm-hmm.
28 Days Later. That's a great horror movie. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. But, you know.
Shaun of the Dead?
Yeah. I would think that, me personally, like I said, Hellraiser would be my choice, but if somebody would have went with some of the Christopher Lee Dracula films, I think that would have been fine.
Right.
You know, like Dracula AD 72. That's one that gets talked about all the time. So,
Right.
Yeah, Shaun of the Dead, it's funny. It's a cult classic, but we've talked about this before, it is highly fucking overrated.
I don't know. Is it safe to say that people made my opinion change of Shaun of the Dead?
Yeah, I get that because they
get what
praise
I'm
it too
saying?
much. They praise it too much.
Because back in the day, when Shaun of the Dead first came out, I was like, oh, this thing is great. You know, it's a breath of fresh air. And then now it's number one, number one, number one. And I'm like,
no. It's fun, but it's not you know.
I mean, can I be honest with you? Going back and watching it, I don't get as much enjoyment as I used to. I don't know if it's because it's tainted at this point.
Yeah.
Or I tried to not let people's opinions influence me, but I guess I got burnt out on it because of other people's overpraise for the movie.
For me, calling Shaun of the Dead the best British horror film is like me calling Tucker versus Dale the best American horror film.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love
it too. But the best
is it. Okay, quick one-on-one. Tucker and Dale versus Evil versus Shaun of the Dead.
I'd rather watch Tucker and Dale.
Same.
Right? So I feel like that movie was way better.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
I'm
not going to shit all over Shaun of the Dead, but it's not that great.
No.
I mean, it really isn't.
I mean, this is you're talking about Muhammad Ali versus Mike Tyson. You know, there's no loser really, but Tucker and Dale versus Evil is to me still underrated.
Yeah, not a lot of people have seen it.
It's so great. I can. That's one of those put on a anytime horror movie and watch.
It's one of the best horror comedies of all time. You know,
it really is.
Well, speaking of somebody's last project, Ray Liotta's last movie is coming to video on demand next month, and it's a horror movie. It's a trailer out for it. It's called Dangerous Water. So this is the last he was actually working on this film when he died.
Okay.
So that's probably why it's taking so long for it to come out. They have to, do some editing, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
We all thought that probably Cocaine Bear was his last project, but it wasn't.
It's this one.
It's this one, and it's coming on video on demand next month.
I haven't seen the trailer yet.
Speaking of another trailer, there is a trailer that has been released for Dario Argento's brand new documentary. On him, it's called Panico. Panico.
Panico.
Yep.
Okay.
And the world premiere of this documentary will premiere at the Venice Film Festival overseas, obviously. But, we're a big fan of Argento and Italian horror films in general. So
I wonder if it'd be on like Shudder, because they have Felucci, right?
Yeah. They have a Felucci documentary, and, Argento is just as interesting.
And as important.
Yeah, so there is a trailer for it. So if you're looking for it, type in Dario Argento Panico.
Panico. Okay.
Panico.
I still need to watch the Robert Englund documentary that came out a couple months ago.
Yeah, like it seems like everybody is coming out with some documentaries these days.
Right.
Speaking of that, we talked about this yesterday, but Dylan's New Nightmare is finally out right now, starring Miko Hughes, and it's streaming free on the Horror Channel on YouTube. Okay. And it's only like a 35-minute movie. It's consider this like a short type of deal. It's a direct sequel of Wes Craven's New Nightmare. It picks up Dylan all these years later, trying to deal with life, being Heather Langenkamp's son. They do keep the realness to it. Like, he's not Nancy's son, he's Heather Langenkamp's son.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like Wes Craven's New Nightmare. You take the characters out of the movie, and they're the actors behind the characters, but the actors are playing characters, but the characters they're playing are themselves. Does that make sense?
Whoa.
You haven't seen
Inception.
You haven't seen New Nightmare, have you? Mm-mm. I didn't think so. Oh God, I don't like New Nightmare. But I don't know. Me and you've really never talked about doing reviews of fan-made movies.
Well, I can tell you that I've watched it. I watched it at work the other night, and it is absolutely probably one of the best fan-made films I've ever seen. The production on it is top-notch. The acting, the quality. It's in 4K, so it's crystal clear.
Okay.
It definitely made me want more of this. So that's a good thing. Not only was it released, but if you go to the Horror Channel, which is the channel that this is playing on, you'll also see the brand new music video where they took Dream Warriors and Tuesday Nights Running from His Nightmare from Part 4, and they mixed it together and made a new song. You can also, they're coming out with a vinyl for the music that they made for this movie.
That's kind of cool, though.
Yeah, so they're going all out with this shit. And I can tell you that Miko Hughes, when you see him act in this, you'll be like, damn, why has he kind of disappeared so much, Because when he was a kid, he was in everything.
Yeah,
he was in Pet Sematary, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. He was in Kindergarten Cop. He was in a bunch of shit. So, now he's like 40. He's only like 5 years older than us. So,
yeesh, that sucks.
He's lucky for us though. He does conventions a lot. So one day he's definitely on the list to meet. So,
right.
But definitely check out this little short film.
Thinking about it now, like, we talk about how like the horror community is probably one of the greatest creative communities, and only the horror community will get so, like you said last time we were talking, like, if they don't see a design, they're like, fuck it, I'll make the design and put it on the shirt.
Right.
I don't know any other fan community where they get so aggravated with like movies. It's like, fuck it, I'll make my own fucking movie.
Yeah,
that I want to see.
There's countless Michael Myers and Jason movies out there.
Yeah.
There's fucking versus movies, Jason versus Michael, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I've watched several of them. The 13 Fanboy, which is on Tubi right now.
Right.
It's also on, I believe, HBO Max, or it's on one of the streaming services.
It is.
But the majority of that film is a guy went around legit horror conventions and grabbed people and was like, hey, film this for 2 minutes. And they did it, and he just incorporated it into the film.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's all he did.
What's the fan-made Jason one that's really good? The name's slipping my...
Never Hike Alone.
That's it.
Yeah.
I think that's the most well-known.
Yeah, I've seen that one. That one's really good. There's a Halloween that I watched a while ago. I can't remember. Like you said, there's so many I can't keep up with the names. But yeah, that one that you just mentioned has probably received more praise than most of them.
It really has.
When you see Dylan's Nightmare, it'll be up there with Never Hike Alone.
Yeah, I'll watch it and see what I think about it. Maybe we'll do like a little, I don't know, 5, 10, 15-minute review.
And speaking of old but yet new, Chucky Season 3 trailer's out now.
Yeah, I watched it. It looks good. I still can't find Season 2.
I can't either. And you want to know what chaps my ass? Fucking Chucky is on what? HBO Max, but it's also on Shudder as well.
It's also on, I think, Paramount?
Paramount. That's what I meant. Maybe not Max. It's on Paramount.
It's on Paramount. One of them because they we talked about, everything that's coming.
Right.
And all the movies are on there except for the Season 2 of Chucky.
Yeah. But Shudder pissed me off because I go to click on Chucky and it says 2 seasons.
Yes.
And I'm thinking to myself, oh, sweet, they got the second season.
Yeah.
It's just 1 season. They're just letting you know that there is 2 seasons.
Yes. I don't know.
Gotcha.
I don't know what they're waiting on. And I'm not going to go out and buy the season of it.
No.
I'm not going to do that.
Because as soon as you do that, they'll put it on there.
Yep.
Yeah, because I saw a lot of reaction videos to Season 2,
Uh-huh.
and I saw a lot of reviews, and I didn't like where they were going with it because they involve a lot of Seed of Chucky in Season 2, from what I've heard.
Well,
And
I just want to watch it.
That's a red flag for me.
Well, I don't really care. I don't give a shit if it sucks. I just want to watch it so I can judge it for myself. Just give me the opportunity to watch it, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I know. I'm probably not going to be able to see Season 2 until Season 4 is coming out.
Right. Well, here's some news. It's not necessarily horror, but it does involve villains and bad guys, right?
Okay.
Here is the rumor mill. You might have heard this, but the rumor is the next big villain in the Batman 2 is Clayface.
I thought I heard they were trying to figure out who they wanted to go with.
Yeah.
And I heard Clayface.
Well,
I heard
they want to do somebody that has never been done before.
I heard Mad Hatter.
Yeah, I don't want that shit.
Apparently the rumor was Johnny Depp was supposed to be the Mad Hatter.
Well, I mean,
now the opinion's changed.
Well,
I'm
I'm picturing him as a Mad Hatter, and I'm like, okay, that could work, but you have to change a lot about the Mad Hatter to, because when I think of the Mad Hatter, not only is it because it's the same name, but in the cartoon show, he was kind of goofy and quirky. He reminds me of fucking Alice in Wonderland.
Well, I think if anybody can pull it off, it's him. Honestly, if it was Johnny Depp being the Mad Hatter, I imagine him and his performance from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory just turned up to 10.
Yeah.
Or his performance as the Mad Hatter in Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, that too.
That's what I immediately thought. I thought Mad Hatter, Alice in Wonderland versus Batman.
I think his performance in Charlie would fit the Batman Mad Hatter.
If you took like the look and gave him the crazy Charlie personality. Yeah. But
That-
they would go darker. I mean, let's be honest. We love the Batman. We thought it was a good movie.
Yeah,
But
that's great.
let's be honest. Riddler was